What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to another video. So today I'm giving you guys my review, my little recap of Monday Night Raw, the Raw after Mania. Now, first off, I want to say that this episode was really, really good. This is what a Raw after WrestleMania should be and what should feel like and stuff like that. The progression of new stories being developed, new feuds being developed and stuff like that, potential call ups and people from NXT showing up and getting into it with the main roster stars. This is what the Raw after Mania should be and should look like. Unfortunately, we have not been able to get that in the last couple years, but it looks like if this is going to be an indication of what we can be getting, I think it's safe to say that we are finally back in that field where Raw after Mania could be seen as something really, really big, and we are going to talk about some of the things that happened on Monday Night Raw. I'm not going to probably go through everything, but I'm going to go through some of the key things that did happen on Monday Night Raw last night. So the first thing is we open up with John Cena coming out as your 17-time world champion. His first, promo, his first promo as champion. He pretty much says, um, y'all is still a toxic relationship and it's a dysfunctional relationship and how and everything like that. And then he talks about, you guys are fickle, you guys don't know what you want. The fact that last night y'all wanted, like last Friday y'all were booing me, then I win the championship, y'all want to cheer me. And then he says y'all should be apologizing for everything that you've done. And then the crowd, shockingly enough, says we are sorry. And then John Cena, counteracts that and he says no, that was a sorry excuse for an apology. And then he continues to ramble on and just say, y'all were booing Cody and kind of just shows the fact that the fans don't know what they want. The fact that, they want something and then when they get it, they turn against it. And we were seeing that with Cody. We seen Cody. He's been built up as a big baby face. And then when he was facing Cena and he was making some great points, they were booing him. Same thing with Bianca. She was making some good points throughout the Rhea Ripley and Io feud, but for whatever reason, they wanted to boo Bianca. I don't know why they were doing that. I don't know why they were booing Cody, but I guess it was just the overall crowd and what the circumstances were, and that's why they booed him. I don't know, but y'all let me know in the comment section down below. Do you guys think that why do you guys think they've been booing Bianca and John Cena? When I personally think they haven't really given them a reason to have the crowd turn against them. I don't know if it's just a booking thing and how they've been portraying them. But y'all let me know in the comment section down below. But on to the next thing that we're going to talk about after the as well when we're going to continue talking with the John Cena stuff. He continues rambling on and he says, "You guys take out your phones and I want you to capture this because this is the last time you guys are going to see a real world champion in your city." And then from behind, out of nowhere, Randy Orton makes his presence felt. And what happens? He hits him with the RKO, setting up John Cena and Randy Orton for the WWE Undisputed Championship, which I do think is going to take place at Backlash. We already know John Cena and Randy Orton are like some of the biggest rivals in WWE history. You have like long-standing feuds that have taken the course over people's careers in the company. We look at Triple H and Shawn Michaels and what they were able to do. You got John Cena and Randy Orton. You got John Cena and Edge. Those are just a few to throw out there. But those, and then he even name drops some of the names in the promo as well. He was like saying that Roman, he named Roman and CM Punk, which gives me a reason to believe at some point during his reign we are going to see John Cena and um Punk probably go at it at some point. We're probably going to see John Cena and Roman Reigns go at it. These are going to be some interesting feuds now that the roles are reversed, especially when we get to this feud with him and Randy. For the whole part of their careers, Randy has been the heel and John Cena's been the face, but now finally the roles are reversed, and I think this is going to be an interesting dynamic. When we get to Roman Reigns, the roles are going to be reversed. When we get to him and Punk, the roles are going to be kind of reversed. Even though when we look at the Punk feud, even though I don't think Punk was necessarily a heel, but he was more of the anti-hero. I think if you want to make that argument. But I think just having those names be dropped is going to create some interesting television throughout this year because we don't know who is going to be stepping up to try to take that title from him. We already got a huge name, Randy Orton, who is heavily advertised for Backlash, who is going for his 15th World Championship. And I think a lot of people would love to see that happen. Now, I don't think they will just because they gave him the title. So I think it will be an interesting match, but I don't think he's going to win. And then, they're setting up that match, in which I do believe will be the main event. I don't know how much time they will devote to that match. Maybe they'll give them like 15, 20 minutes to let them tell the story that they want. I know in previous encounters that they've had, they maybe had like 30 and 40-minute matches, which is something they probably could do once again, but we will see. And then on to the next thing that they do, Liv and Raquel versus Bianca. Not Bianca, but Becky and Lyra. Liv and Raquel invoking the rematch clauses for the tag team titles after losing them at WrestleMania. And this match was really good. I actually thought this match was really good. It sucks to say that if we would have got this match at WrestleMania, I don't think I would have been personally upset at all, just because I wanted to see a good match and we didn't really get that. It felt rushed and it just kind of almost felt like a squash match, if you want to be honest. But this match was really fun. And this was the first title defense for Becky and Lyra. And what happens? We see Becky and Lyra taking it to Liv and Raquel. Liv and Raquel also trying to isolate them. We were seeing some close near falls where Becky hit a manhandle slam. It looked like it was going to be the beginning of the end, and Liv was going to lose her the rematch for her and Raquel. And then Raquel breaks it up. And then throughout this match, Raquel, she hit a huge, nice big boot to Lyra Valkyria. That looked like she almost kicked her head off, if you want to be honest. And then also on top of that, we were seeing Liv and Raquel kind of fighting on, not Liv and Raquel, Liv and Becky fighting on the outside. She was trying to go for a manhandle slam once again, and then pretty much Liv reversed it, and then she threw Becky into the ring post. And then what happens after that is we see um Lyra pretty much trying to take out um Raquel, and Raquel goes into to Becky and takes her out, and then Lyra turns around, gets hit with an Oblivion for the 1, the 2, and the 3, and Liv and Raquel are your tag team champions once again, 4-time tag team champions. Now, the thing with this, I feel as if I look at it now and just like, what was the point of taking the titles from Liv and Raquel just to give it back to them the very next night? Now, if you wanted Becky to turn on Lyra, that is fine. You could have realistically done this at Mania, and if you want to be honest, I feel like it would have had a probably just the same amount of impact, if not even more of an impact, if it would have happened at Mania. But I understand that they want to make the Raw after Mania feel important, but you could have done this at Mania, and then you could have had Liv and Raquel have their moment at WrestleMania, continue their reign, and then you could segue into a Becky Lyra feud coming out of Mania, because I do think we are going to see that potentially happen. Now, after the match, Becky and Lyra in the ring. You could tell Becky is really upset that she lost the tag titles. She goes in for a hug with Lyra, and they hug. And then Becky Lynch clotheslines Lyra Valkyria, turning on Lyra the night after WrestleMania, the night after they win the tag team titles. And then she literally beats the crap out of Lyra. She hits her with not one, but two, but three manhandle slams, two of which were back to back. And the crowd was literally saying one more time. She obliged. She came back in, hit her with another one, and now it looks like we're setting up Becky and Lyra for the potential of the Intercontinental Championship, maybe at Backlash. Now, me personally, I don't think Becky may win, but it's also a possibility that she does. The reason I say it's a possibility she doesn't, because I do think Bayley is going to come back, and she's probably going to cost Becky the title, and then maybe we segue into a Becky and Bayley feud, which I think could be really interesting just because of their history. I think the last time we seen this was like maybe 2019. So it's been a quite some time since we've seen these two actually go at it, and now we've seen we both of them were like faces and stuff like that, but Bailey turned heel. But now this could be something interesting to have Bailey come back with an edgier side to her character, which I think could help her in the long run. And then you also giving Becky some heat, maybe. And then maybe if you want, maybe you do give her the Intercontinental Championship. You have her and Bailey help elevate that title by having a feud over it, which is something that could be good. Or like I said, maybe we do see Becky end up getting cost the title by Bailey and returning Bailey at some point, maybe at Backlash. And then what do you do with the Intercontinental Championship? Maybe you do have Lyra and Liv go at it, because we do know Lyra did get pinned by Liv Morgan. So maybe Liv Morgan comes on Raw at some point and she says, well, I pinned the champion. I should get a match for the title. And then maybe that's what they do. Or, like some people were saying in the chat last night, maybe they do decide to do Bailey taking coming back or something like that. But Becky is champion. Maybe Becky beats Lyra. And then if you want, at SummerSlam, you could do Becky and Liv. But the thing is with that is, if you do that, Liv would probably be the quote unquote face, which I don't think it would be hard to do just because it's in her home turf. So I think people will be pro Liv in that match. And then this would be a great way to culminate that feud, because I think a lot of people, and it was heavily speculated that Becky and Liv were going to be a match at WrestleMania. And since they didn't, maybe they decided to do this at SummerSlam with it being 2 nights this year. So that is something that you could potentially be looking out for. But like I said, it kind of just felt like they didn't have to necessarily take tag titles off of Liv and Raquel and then just give them back their next night. But that's my personal opinion. Y'all let me know how y'all feel about that. Do you guys think Liv and Raquel should have retained, or do you guys think they actually did it better by having Becky and Lyra win and then drop it the next night? And what do you guys think will be the next step for Lyra? Do you think she will lose the title to Becky, or do you think Bailey will cost Becky winning the title, and then we'll do something with Becky and Bailey, and then Lyra loses to someone else? Y'all let me know in the comment section about that. But then after that, we get the New Day coming out there. They're talking about them winning the tag titles, how nobody believed in them and stuff like that. And we have the Alpha Academy. Alpha Academy interrupts them and just pretty much calls them 60-second men, pretty much saying that, the last time that those two faced, um, Otis and Akira Tozawa beat them, and stuff like that. So then it looked like they were going to set up an impromptu tag team title match. Then, as the match was getting started, the lights go out. And I'm wondering who it was going to be. I felt like it was going to be a potential debut or return or something along the lines of that. And it ended up being the returning Rusev. Rusev Day is back in WWE, and I am excited. I'm excited. I feel like AEW fumbled the bag with him. He could have been really, really good. He could have been a dominant force in the WWE. And I seen a little part of the segment that they did. I think it was exclusive. He says, it's been too long. It's been 5 years, but I'm back, and I'm here to do what I didn't do the first time, and that's win everything. I think we're probably going to set something up, maybe when he goes through both Otis and Akira Tozawa. Then after that, maybe we start his first legit feud. I think that'll be something really, really interesting at some point. And then I'm just happy to see Rusev back. Rusev Day is back. I do think they did. Heard that Lana signed a Legends deal, so it's a potential possibility that she ends up joining him at some point in the near future as a manager or something like that. Or maybe they just let Rusev do his own thing. We will see. Then, later in the backstage, after Liv and Raquel won, having none other than Dominic, the new Intercontinental Champion. And you could tell there was going to be a little dissension in that locker room, because one person was missing, and that was Finn Balor, who ended up walking in, and he looked pissed. He looked pissed that Dominic is the champion and he's not. So you can already see the planting seeds between Dominic and Finn Balor, which we got throughout the course of the show. And he says, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. But I feel like we're about to see the potential turn in the next couple of weeks. And then throughout the show, we ended up seeing AJ and Karrion going at it. That's potentially leading into a feud as well. And then we also have Io come out. You know, she's talking about how Bianca and Rhea doubted her, and that she was able to overcome the odds, and she's still your women's champion. And then we get Stephanie McCool making her presence felt. She comes out and she's saying, "I respect you, Io. Congratulations on your win, but I'm here to face the best." And she calls out Io. Io accepts. We get a great match. This is a WrestleMania level caliber type of match, and I'm all for it. If we can get this match at some point in the down the line, I am all for it. I am. This match was really good from start to close to the finish. Then it looks like Io was going to try to go for Stephanie McCool to try to put her away, but she gets attacked by Roxanne Perez. And then also we ended up getting Julia coming down there. So I thought they were probably going to set this up as a tag team match, but that was not the case. Then Rhea Ripley comes down to try to even the odds and pretty much run Roxanne and Julia off. And then she looks at Io and she says, "I'm coming back for that," so that I have reason to believe that they're going to run that back at Backlash, maybe. And then maybe Rhea does win the title back. I don't know. But I do think that is the route that they are going to be going with. Then we also got to talk about the Intercontinental Championship match between Dominic and Penta, and they were chanting Dominic's name. They're definitely planting seed for him to potentially turn babyface very soon. And throughout this match, it was really good. And then it looks like we were getting some shenanigans as we were going to. It's Judgment Day. You got to expect shenanigans. Penta was looking like he was going to go for the win. But we get the return of J.D. McDonough helping out Dominic Mysterio to retain the Intercontinental Championship. And as the Judgment Day is celebrating, we have Dominic is Intercontinental Champion. We have the tag team champs with Liv and Raquel. You got Carlito and JD over there. And you right over to like their right, Finn Balor's there, but he looks like he's kind of lost, like what's going on. It feels like everybody's kind of just picking everyone's side and not really on his side, so he's feeling some type of way, which is definitely going to plant the seeds even more that we are going to get a feud with Finn Balor and Dominic Mysterio over the Intercontinental Championship relatively soon. Then to close the show, we got to talk about this one. Seth Rollins comes out with Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman endorses Seth Rollins. He looked like he was going to talk about Roman Reigns and CM Punk. But before that, CM Punk cuts off anything Paul Heyman was going to say and goes right after Seth. He was on business tonight. He was going straight after Seth, but Paul Heyman was the difference maker to throw his attention off Seth for one split second, and that ended up costing him. Then, as he hits him with the curb stomp, he takes him out for the time being. Looks like Paul Heyman was going to pick up the mic and say something else, but Roman Reigns comes out, and I did not expect this because the way they set it up, it looked like the show was going to go off air, and I like how they did that. Roman comes out, he attacks Seth Rollins, he hits him with the spear, then he goes for the Superman punch on Paul Heyman, which he deserved after what he did at WrestleMania. You snake. Then he tries to go for a spear on Paul Heyman, but he ends up running into a spear from himself from none other than Braun Breaker. So now we're getting an alliance between Braun Breaker, Seth Rollins, and Paul Heyman, and we potentially might be getting some more people added at some point. They are doing a Shield or Evolution type of style faction here, and I'm all for this because we know the history between Paul Heyman and Braun Breaker. We know that Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker had a match a couple years ago in NXT, so you know that there is a tie-in there. We know if you go back to the Royal Rumble, Braun Breaker got eliminated by Roman Reigns, so you know that they have that history there, and you know what they could be doing with this. They could go a numerous amount of ways with this. You could do a multiple one-on-one matches with this. You could do a tag team match between Braun Breaker and Seth Rollins versus CM Punk and Roman Reigns, with them having to align with each other to try to take these two down. And then, if you want to book it a long term, we could see this go into Survivor Series where we have a team Roman Reigns versus a team Paul Heyman type of match where they have to rally the troops on both sides and let them go to war and stuff like that. I think this is going to be some interesting television that they are going to be giving us these next couple of weeks as we head into Money in the Bank and Backlash and SummerSlam. We're going to be getting some interesting stories. I'm telling you guys now, this was a great Raw after WrestleMania. But y'all comment down below. Let me know how you guys feel about this Raw after WrestleMania. Road to 2,000 subscribers. Ultimate goal is 10,000 by the end of 2025. Super kick that like button helps my channel get pushed across the platform so more people can see what I'm doing here on YouTube. Super and punch the notification bell so every time I post a new video, reaction video, rant video, live stream, any type of video, you can be a little bit things that do drive the video and speed the subscriber. It takes 3 seconds out of your day. Those 3 things for me helps in the progression of my channel as well. But with that being said, hope everyone has a great day, great rest of your week, and I'll see you guys in the next video.